In this landscape photography adventure, I get dangerously lost in the fog of the Icelandic Highlands, to the point where I almost brim my pants. I'm going to take you on a perilous climb up a creepy, craggy mountain where I take some epically moody shots of this spectacular landscape. But before we do that, today is the last day of my Black Friday sale, where you can get 50% off my ebook and my photography courses using this coupon code. I'll put a link in the description below. Right, let me take you on a fantastic adventure where I learn a very hard lesson. So I'll just wait here while Amanda rubs horses. I do love horses myself, but I've got a trip to plan because we're off into these mountains. So if you look at where Amanda is, way off over there is these mountains, and we're off out to those in the hopes of getting some beautiful shots, and it might actually require a massive hike. We shall see, but I'm quite excited, and the weather is perfectly horrible. By that I mean rain, cloud, and then it clears and then it comes again, so you get that lovely weather shift, which you know I absolutely love. So we've got about 2 hours of terrible road driving, and then hopefully we'll find the destination.
Yeah!
Did you get your horse fix?
Yeah, and I gave him an apple.
Yeah, did they like it?
Yeah. I would stay longer, but there's lots of mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes?
Well, something like those. Or...
Oh, probably midges. I saw you almost got bit there, though.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that first one that had your apple kind of went like that.
Oh, yeah, he was interested in my breast after.
Alright, let's crack on.
The recent rains had the waterfalls flowing over lush green hills, but we were headed into the barren hellscape of the Highlands, very slowly.
So we've been going about an hour, and I just had to pull over because look at this light that you can see up here behind this mountain. Well, it's behind that one, that's kind of in silhouette, but then the one behind that one is getting some beautiful light. So I think I'm going to get the drone up in the air because I can also see some really pointy pinnacles over there on that mountain, so that might make a nice foreground for the drone. But anyway, I'll get it up in the air and let's see what we can see.
The sky revealed this spectacular landscape, and I just had to shoot this pano. Seen up in the air, I knew I just had to get closer.
So this is that mountain that you just saw in that drone footage, and the other one behind it, and the light's just so good that I think I'm just gonna hike out there. I've parked the car and I'm just gonna head up that mountain there, up that shale and scree, see if I can find something cool to put in the foreground. And I know I've got a good background, the light's just so good, there's gotta be a good shot there. So I'm gonna gear up and get hiking. So Amanda's decided to stay cozy and warm in the car. It's coincidental, I'm sure, that just as things start to get really cold, she's ready for a nap. Strange that, isn't it? But anyway, it's a solo mission for me. But I'm quite excited about getting this viewpoint captured on my actual proper camera. Oh man, look at that light and those clouds and this subject matter, absolutely majestic. So basically I could either go down and then up, which sounds like a whole load of work, or I could just go across. So I'm just gonna hike across this valley on that ridge and hopefully find something to put in my foreground. But just look at that business, it's ridiculous.
There's nothing quite like a late night hike into the mountains in Iceland in summer.
Does anybody know what kind of flowers or plant that is? Quite interesting. Post a comment and let me know. I would imagine that there's all kinds of plant life that grows here that is perhaps unique to Iceland. I remember going up to Haleakala crater in Maui, and they have all kinds of amazing plants that grow only up there on that mountain. Oh, this is fantastic. Now, as usual, it's a optical illusion, and it's much further away than I first thought. And that's the thing with Iceland. Unless there's a house at the bottom of a mountain, you don't really have any concept of scale when it comes to places like this. And in fact, there is a house on the other side of that, but on this side there isn't. And it looked a lot closer than it was when I was driving or flying the drone. But I'll be there any second, I'm sure. All right, I've made it up to the spiky spikes, which I would like to be my foreground for this epic background, which is now completely covered in cloud. But it comes and it goes, so I'm not going to get bummed out. I'm sure it'll open up a little bit. But man, that is such an interesting subject. And so is that mountain. It's just so pointy and gnarly. You know me, I love that kind of stuff. It's a shame that this time of year, there's just really no night time. So you can't get astro shots, can't get Milky Way or stars, but wouldn't that be cool if I could get some kind of Milky Way composition with all of these elements? Anyway, upwards and onwards, and then I'm going to be looking back, and hopefully that should open up a little bit. Look at this business.
Plan was to climb the slope and then try to scale the scree to get in between those two gnarly spires. Easy, right? I'll be honest, it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, especially when trying to film it with one hand, but at least I'd get a nice view at... there is no view.
Oh, well, I've got to the top, well, as far as I can get, really. I don't think I can realistically get up there. And I've got bad news and some even worse news. The bad news is that I lost my microphone. This is my backup. So that's $150 down the drain. The second bad news is the shot from up here is actually not going to work because it's just too tight. I can't even see what's going on in the background, even if the clouds were not here. And then I guess the third bad news is that now I'm completely socked in. I'm not too worried about that because I think it'll clear. But I guess the good news is that I got a bit of a workout. That's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's great. So I'm gonna go back down the hill. I've already been down once to try and find my mic and then had to come back up a second time. So now I'm gonna go down again. Maybe I'll find a mic on the way down. And I'll just go and climb around that first set of spikes and see if I can find a composition there. But it could very well be that the only comps of this spot from up in the air. Right, back down the hill.
Now, I was focused on not breaking an ankle, but what I should have been more concerned about was the dense fog cutting off my trail back to the car. And when I turned around and saw this spectacular scene, well, all I could think about was grabbing my camera to get the shot. What a bloody idiot.
Well, I might not be getting the shot that I came here for, but I'll take this any day of the week. You know me, I love this kind of almost sinister, ethereal moodiness. And for this, it's got to be the Hasselblad. The Hasselblad does this kind of shot better than any other camera that I've ever used. It's so moody and intense. Oh God. Let me show you the back of the camera here. All right, so what I was originally going for was a 65-24 pano, which would basically mean that all of the bottom here gets cropped out. But the problem with that is when you do it in the camera, so if I just go into my crop modes and do X-pan, it's in the center of the frame, and I don't want that, because if I can use the full frame and push these peaks up to the top of the lens, it just elongates them and makes them a little bit more pointy. In fact, I might even angle that down a little bit more. But really, that's what I'm after. I'm after probably a 4:2, maybe even a 16:9, and then I'll just crop the bottom off. But this, oh man, I just keep shooting. This fog is absolutely perfect. Anyway, I'm ecstatic. I lost my mic, but I gained a shot, which might even be better than what I originally showed up for. Oh, it's clearing over there a bit. I might be spoiled for choice here. Anyway, if this shot turns out to be any good, here's a shot.
Kept coming and going, luring me into a false sense of security, because just when I started to get a little bit worried about the fog, it would clear just enough that I could see my path back to safety. That would prove to be rather foolish.
Well, as you can see in the background, the cloud that came in and covered pretty much everything is now working its way out, which is pretty much what I predicted, and it's looking pretty nice in the background over there. So I'm tempted to get back in the car and just continue on this road and see what else I can see. Let's see what time it is. It's 10:30 right now, so the sun is going to set, I think it sets at 11:40, which it doesn't really set, it just kind of goes behind a hill. But I think I might be done here. I've just got one more composition to show you. Not sure if it's going to work now that the clouds aren't half covering that mountain, but I'll explain this to you, see what you think. So this is kind of becoming a recurring theme with my photography. I always plan to cut out usually a good third of the frame, and that's really what my composition's going to be. So you've got this beautiful peak off to the right, that small spike in the center, and then this lovely rock formation here is just framing the top left of my frame. And then there is some foreground here with this area, but nothing in this area here. It's just a pile of dirt and some rocks, and that's why, you know, I compose these shots a lot where it's an intentional dead zone that I know I'm going to chop out, so that the frame that you end up looking at is only full of juicy goodness. I'm going to have to focus stack this because I'm really close to these rocks, so maybe 3 or 4 shots just to make sure I get all of these sharp. The background I can get in one frame. So I'm not sure if this one's going to work because it doesn't quite have the same misty conditions as those first few shots, but if it turns out to be half decent, here's a shot.
Iceland was very quickly stealing my crusty old heart, but while I stood enraptured by the hypnotic fog, I was painfully oblivious to my impending predicament.
Goodbye, spectacularly spiky and dramatic mountain. Now I'm heading back to the car. Oh God, where is it? I think I can just see the car over there. Wonder what Amanda's doing. Probably scoffing some more Icelandic chocolates.
But then I turned around for one last look, and then I saw this. I just couldn't help myself.
Do you remember when I said I was leaving? Well, I lied. Well, I didn't lie, actually. I told the truth. I meant it at the time. I just didn't know that it was nonsense, because as soon as I turned around and saw this, I thought I better get back. And what I'm doing now is I've got the Sony out with the 14-24, and I'm zoomed into, I think, 17mm for this shot, and it's pretty tasty. Let me just show you the back of the camera. All right, so obviously I've got that just spectacular misty mountain and those spikes as my main subject, but what I've done is I've hunted around for some foreground, And now you should be able to see these lovely patches of moss amongst all of this shale, gravel, I don't know what you would call it, scree maybe. And I just love these. They're just cozy and pillowy. So I think what I'll do, just to make this a little bit darker, oh God, look at that, it's absolutely fantastic. I think what I might do is I might crop off about that much of the frame, perhaps to a 16:9, we'll have to see. And I will have to focus stack it because, as you can see, I'm quite close to these lovely pillowy mounds. Anyway, that is the idea. I might make a few refinements to that, but if this turns out to be any good, here's the shot.
In all honesty, when the conditions are like this, the images shoot themselves. I'd had a brilliant time up on this creepy mountain. But it was time to head back to the car, assuming I could even find my way back.
Well, I'm lost. I am completely lost. If you look at this, 360 degrees. I'm inside of a cloud, and my only reference point really was the mountain and then a couple of creeks that ran by that, and I can't even see it. I don't know where I am. I did cross this tiny little stream which was covered in sort of yellow flowers, so maybe that's the same as the one I crossed on the way in, but it's a little bit worrying. And the last thing I want is for Amanda to start panicking and then come looking for me in the fog, and then that's two people lost. Oh, bloody hell. Hopefully when I get over this ridge, I'll see the car. Oh God. If I can find the road, I'll be all right. I can find the car, but until that cloud moves out, I might be proper lost.
Oh, I was proper lost, all right. Why didn't I bring an old-fashioned compass? Note to self.
So I've been going about another half an hour, and the only landmark I can see is sheep or cows. And I think I could see a straight line over there, so I think that is the road. I'll just go towards that and hopefully that is the road. Not good. All right, I am confident that that is the road. Oh, God, there's the car. Oh, thank God for that. Oh, after a bit of mild panic there, I found the car. I didn't come at the same spot that I'd left, but I found it. Just looking for the road. Look at these sheep staring at me. What are you, an Englishman? Oh man, that's a huge relief. And a bit of a wake-up call and a bit of a lesson, to be honest with you. I think we'll have to put in place a few sort of safety and emergency protocols, because I did not foresee that. It's just a short hike and a short hike back. Before you know it, you're completely lost. Fog is a treacherous thing. Anyway, hopefully she's not all panicked and stressed out. She probably won't, but she's probably just been scoffing chocolates.
Actually, Amanda had slept through the entire ordeal, so I decided not to disturb her and just quietly continue driving down the noisy, bumpy dirt road.
Did you have a good nap, love?
Yeah, I'm still gonna have more.
I thought you'd just be sitting here eating chocolates.
No, I slept the whole time.
You slept the whole time, so you didn't eat any of that new Icelandic chocolate that we got?
Of course I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Was it any good?
I wanted to wait for that cloud to clear around the base of that mountain.
Well, it's teasing me with little glimpses of the tip, but not enough for me to want to get the sky camera out. So we'll just wait, just kill some time. What should we do?
I know what I like to do to kill time.
What?
Read a copy of Stories Within Stories by Gavin Hardcastle.
Have you really read it though?
Yeah, you could ask me about any story.
All right. What's that one about?
That's a fond farewell. That is when we were on Vancouver Island saying goodbye to Grumpy.
Yeah, but what's the story about? What does it say in there?
That you were crying and you were moving to the Maritimes.
Doesn't say that. None of those do.
Thinking you would never move. One thing I'd missed to go.
No, you're reading it now. You said you've read it 6 times. No, you can't just pretend to read it now.
I've looked at it 6 times. I've read it once. And you know my attention span.
Right, so when you say read, you haven't read it at all, have you?
I've read it once, front to back. You saw me reading it in bed.
Well, I saw you looking at the pages. I don't know if you were reading it.
I read it all.
What about that one? August Rain. What's that about?
That was when you were with Brent. Was that your soggy noodles day?
No. Saggy Bag of Noodles was Yoho, BC. I think you've seen enough. There's a link in the description below. Oh, there's a little bit more of the tip showing now. Let's show you this. So, any minute now. Might as well just kill a little bit of time and try some more Icelandic chocolates.
See what we got.
Villikutur. I don't know. Caramella. So it might be nice, that. Do you want to try that one? Yeah? Is it good? I'm not going to have to wind my window down. I quite like that. Yeah. So that's the best Icelandic chocolate bar we've tried so far.
And we only got one. What a drag.
What's this, love?
Bangs a halap.
Gummy bears.
I don't know how you can't go wrong with these. Oh, I got a handful, didn't I?
You're a handful. I'll try just 2.
I think you'll just try 2.
Icelandic chocolate, good. Icelandic gummy bears, very good. Went on to a winner. And I didn't even have to wind my window down. Not once. Give me some of those. These are quite good, aren't they? Thanks a lot. Ah, so much diabetes.
So with bellies full of sugar, we waited to see if the clouds would clear. And then we waited some more until the sun came up somewhere.
Well, it's 3 a.m. I've had 0 hours of sleep. And I do have a face like a betrayed Sasquatch. So I'm pretty much done. I think it's time to leave. I think it's time to quit.
All right.
You've been waiting 3 hours for me to say that, haven't you?
I've been pretty patient.
Oh, yeah, you have been patient. Let's just hope we can get back up those terrible hills that we got down. But you never know, we might see something on the way. It might clear halfway back and we'll try and get something.
And then we'll turn around?
No, we won't. We won't be turning around. What we'll be doing is going back to the car rental place and asking for an upgrade. All right, let's go.
And so began the long drive back to the B&B.
Well, it's 5 a.m. and I think we'll end the day the way that it began, with a trip to the horses. And the light on the mountains now that we're completely miles away from where we were, it is spectacular. If that's kicking off right now where I was, I'll be very upset. The only way I can deal with this is to tell myself that it's still socked in and awful. But here comes the horse for a snack, so I might just get out there and see if I can get a shot of the horses with the mountain. That might be nice. Yeah, bloody cute. I haven't got any snacks for you, but I've got scratches. Will that do? Oh, you're such a cuteness, aren't you? Hey, you want to come back to Canada with us? Oh dear, you're a bit gassy, aren't you? Well, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, don't forget to tickle my bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. I just want to close out this video by saying a huge thank you to everybody who purchased a signed print in my most recent print sale. Now, all of the prints were printed, signed and packaged well over a week ago, but they still haven't gone out yet because Canada Post is on strike. So I'm working hard on finding an alternative method of shipping
You don't need to email me. I'm already on top of it, trying to do everything that I can to get these prints out to you as soon as possible. And then lastly, I just want to say another big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters who help me to keep this channel going. If you're interested in becoming a patron, I'll put a link in the description below. Okay, I'm definitely going this time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.